Welcome to Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, with your host, Steve Garrett, lifetime member of the National Corvette Museum, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 45 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, and the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call them at 833-840-5334. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, "Hey Google," or "Alexa, play the podcast called Corvette Today," and you're connected. And be sure to visit the Corvette Today website. It's CorvetteToday.com. You can access everything there, including the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also join our Corvette Today Facebook group there as well. Also, make sure you sign up for the Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at CorvetteToday.ck.page. And if you like YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our Corvette Today YouTube channel. See all Corvette Today episodes on YouTube as well. And be sure to patronize our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, MidEngineCorvetteForum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of fellow Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at MidEngineCorvetteForum.com. Soul Performance Products. Developed and manufactured in the United States, the Soul Performance Products exhaust portfolio has been tailored to elevate the experience of the world's most exciting sports cars, including the latest generation of the Corvette. Soul Performance Products at SOULPP.com, the official performance exhaust of Corvette Today. Aerolarri Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 unique styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvette. It's an amazing value, starting at only $23.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And use the promo code CT111 and get $100 off your purchase. Visit Aerolarri.com. That's AEROLARRI.com. And use the promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. Ciocca Corvettes. If you're a Corvette enthusiast, and I know you are since you're listening and watching Corvette Today, then you need to know about Ciocca Corvette. They're based in Atlantic City, where you can find over 100 new and pre-owned vets on the lot and inbound. Ciocca also ships Corvettes all over the country, custom ordered to your specifications. They're staffed with experienced pros who can answer all your questions. So don't compromise. Visit CioccaCorvette.com. That's CIOCCA Corvette.com and find out more. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. E5 Wheels. E5 Wheels is a passionate and dedicated wheel company that serves only Corvette. They make spun-forged wheels for your C8, C7, and C6 Corvette. With the best fitment in the industry, E5 Wheels ensures your wheels complement the aesthetics and functionality while optimizing the performance of your Corvette. Visit e5wheels.com or call them at 305-964-7429. And a shout out to Canadian Corvette Forum and Corvette Forum, welcoming Corvette enthusiasts from around the world. All right, everybody, it's time to bring you the latest Corvette news and headlines. My pal Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com is here. Every other week, we keep you current and up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. This is kind of our show edition. Keith and I were just at Corvettes at Carlisle and the anniversary celebration along with the Caravan at the National Corvette Museum. How you feeling, buddy? Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good considering the high temps, all the travel. I was on an airplane this morning getting back here so we could record this afternoon. But you know what? It's always great to be just surrounded and enveloped by Corvette and Corvette people. And it's really a celebration of the hobby when we're away and doing this stuff. Despite all the stuff that goes along with it, it's a labor of love. I wouldn't miss these shows for anything.
I wouldn't trade it for the world. My morning started at 5 a.m. I drove 8 hours from Bowling Green back to Kansas City so you and I can record, and I got to have this ready by midnight Eastern. So we probably ought to get into the meat of the show, shouldn't we?
You can do it, Steve. Thank you for all the people that did come up to both Steve and I, just telling us how much they love the show and they appreciate what they get out of the show. Not only do they tell us that they they do the show or they listen to the show, but they tell us always what they're doing when they're listening to the show. Oh, I'm commuting to work. Oh, I'm on my morning walk. Oh, this is the time that I'm doing blah, blah, blah. So it's always interesting to talk to people. Actually, I had a couple people say that I might talk a little too fast. So it's just excitement and wanting to get to the meat of the info. I'll try better to slow down a little bit. And I know Steve with his editing whiz over there, we don't want any listener fatigue.
That's right.
Try to slow it down just a little bit, but still make it fast and peppy enough for everybody to keep up.
Thanks to everybody that came up to us. We love you guys. We do this for you, and it is a labor of love. All right, buddy, let's start off like we always do in news with a production update from the Bowling Green Assembly Plant.
Yeah, this is good. Being away, I haven't really followed the day-to-day stuff like I normally can from the office here. But with Carlisle and the 30th anniversary shows now behind us, I knew that we'd be seeing some milestones to talk about with these production numbers. Early on, we had predicted over 1,000 E-Rays, and now we're actually seeing 1,134 E-Rays have been produced.
Wow.
Corvette team members told me that E-Ray is now running 10% of total orders. They haven't missed a day going back to the 4th of July break there. They're building E-Rays every day. They're double digits almost every single day. Looks like they're really on their way to getting up to where they want to be with production. So that's great news for the E-Ray. The other milestone is the Z06, which now has surpassed 10,168 units for 2024.
Man.
Steve, that's 10,000 Z06s this year.
Amazing.
Combine that with, I think, the 6,400 last year, 16,000 Z06s produced in 2 years so far. So, again, amazing testament to not only a fantastic car. You know, the thing is when you go to these shows, the Z06 is everywhere now. Before, it was just such a novelty to see one here, maybe one over there, but they're everywhere. So glad to see that Chevy is able to produce those. Maybe that's a harbinger for what we might see with ZR1, you know, being able to produce a supercar in decent quantities. Just kind of throwing that out there. But yeah, 10,000 Z06s, that's pretty incredible.
That is nice. That's really great.
And then there's Stingray. The Stingray now, we're at 30,493 built for 2024. They go out to dealers and they get picked up right away. Even if the dealer ordered them for stock, they're not sticking around too long. And especially with these discounts out there, you could really snag a great deal on a Stingray. When we add all three of these models up, we get 41,795 units already produced for the 2024 model year. We've got 2025s are expected to start in 1 week, although we've actually heard from 3 different buyers saying that their 2024 has a TPW of 9.9. So we're not sure if they're able to end production on the Friday and start on the Monday, or if it just will be a rolling start, ending 2025s on Monday or Tuesday, and then kicking up with the 2025s after that. So that should be interesting to watch, and we're going to be paying attention to that. As far as the next order cycle goes, dealers will get allocations on September 12th, and then the order bank opens up on Thursday, September 19th. So they backed that away just a week or two because of the Labor Day weekend. September 19th will be the next ordering cycle for Corvettes. I talked to Josh Holder because we were talking about the rollout with the different colors. You know, with the Hysteria, when it came out, they only did 40. And then the second order cycle rolled out, I think it was 96 or so Hysterias, and then 96 competition yellows. Josh says they like to do like a 25%, a 50%, a 75%, and then 100%. We should be getting some decent numbers, I think, with the third order cycle coming up with those new colors. Of course, these colors were on display at the different shows and at the Corvette Museum, and people really seem to like them. We're expecting big things.
And we hope that Keith can finally order his Hysteria Purple E-Ray.
It's going to happen, my friend. It's going to happen.
Absolutely right. Keith, let's talk about Corvettes at Carlisle. Another great show put on by Lance Miller and everybody at Carlisle Events.
Yeah, this is always my favorite show of the year. I can't rave about it enough. If you have never been, it's really something to put on your bucket list. Now, I know this year was a Caravan year and you might have been traveling, but this year's Carlisle, it featured obviously the new 2025 Corvette ZR1. I haven't seen excitement like that since probably when the C8 Stingray was first announced. I mean, there was obviously a lot of people excited about the Z06, but the crowd was heavy in the tent when they pulled out the car on Friday to do the walk around. You see, we got the video up. It was standing room only all around the car.
Yep.
Just people were so excited to see it. So yeah, that really drew some crowds there. Of course, Chevy had a competition yellow Z06, and I didn't talk to one person that was disappointed really to see Accelerate Yellow being replaced. So I think that new yellow is going to do very well.
Yeah.
And then of course, Chevy also brought out a Hysteria E-Ray and then the new 2025 Stingray with the Z51 wings. Showing off the new stuff. We saw some new wheels. You get to talk to the engineers in the tent. Carlisle was also our first chance to meet Tony Roma, who was taking over for Taj, who just retired. This was his first time to attend Carlisle, and I think that he was pretty much blown away by the amount of activity at the show. They say I heard about it, but I never really thought it would be like this.
Yeah.
Not only do you have the crowds in the tent, but you're just looking across the fairgrounds at a sea of Corvettes. For people that love this stuff and love old cars and new cars, there's something at Carlisle for everyone. They celebrated the 50th anniversary of the 1974 Corvette. There was a great reunion with the C4 Corvette Challenge racing cars and some of their drivers. We actually got a really cool video on YouTube showing these drivers getting behind the wheel of their former race cars and then driving them up on a closed circuit at the show. So pretty cool there. In fact, if you look in the background of that video, you'll see one of the guys is doing donuts in his old Corvette Challenge race car.
Wow.
We learned that one of the reasons why the ZR1 was released when it was that engineers needed to finish the car, and they can't do it when it's wearing camouflage. And of course, the other little piece of news that we got about the ZR1 is that the team is going back to the Nürburgring for some final testing. You're probably not going to see a time. We know that it would be a really fast time. We don't understand this, but we get it. They're there to focus on development, not on fast times. The ZR1 is going back to the Nürburgring. We're going to hopefully see that sometime this fall as well.
Yeah, and Josh Holder talked about that, and they don't go to the Nürburgring to set time. They go there to tune the car and get the car right. But the interesting thing is they said they had 4 test drivers, and on the first run for every test driver, each one went over 200 miles an hour. I heard from multiple sources at both shows that if this thing doesn't go over 212 miles an hour, they'll be very, very disappointed.
Yeah, I think they've got this thing dialed in pretty well. So pretty exciting. But again, that's the beauty of Carlisle, the ability to get up close with the engineers. They'll listen to you. They'll answer your questions. You know, if you go up and say, what's the price going to be? They'll probably say, oh, we haven't set pricing yet. We don't know availability or times yet. But the stuff that they can tell you, they'll definitely tell you. They'll tell you about some of even the issues they had, blowing up dynos, and their exhaust stacks would get backed up because the way the ZR1 just pumps out the air through there. Carlisle, that's the place to be in August. Hopefully you guys will listen to me and be there next year with your cars and be able to say, hey, Steve, we listened to you on the podcast.
Yeah, and I did my 2 seminars, one on Friday and one on Saturday. So if you haven't seen the seminar about Corvette Today, mark Corvettes at Carlisle on your calendar for next year. It is the mecca and the best show in the country for Corvette. It really is.
Yep, agreed.
Also, Keith, let's talk about the NCM's 30th anniversary and Caravan. That was a wild, wild show.
Yeah, wild show. So a week after Carlisle, 30th anniversary celebration of the National Corvette Museum, which also brought in the National Corvette Caravans. These caravans do this every 5 years, and they leave from all parts of the country. Now, I don't have the exact count yet. I thought it was over 3,500 cars was what they were expecting, but the crowds were huge. The museum actually did a really good job of being able to handle all those people despite the high temps. I mean, it was really hot in Bowling Green this weekend, but the way they had stuff over at the Motorsports Park and then at the museum, and then they had big buses shuttling people back and forth. So there was not too much wait times until the very end of the day when people were trying to get back over to park. But then they might have waited 15 or 20 minutes before their bus took them over there. So really good stuff. Of course, we sat through a bunch of seminars. The Corvette team, Corvette assembly plant did their stuff. A great seminar by Jordan Leon, the small block engineering of the ZR1 engine, the LT7.
Yep.
Our friends Michelin and Mobile One offered tech talks and some fun stuff. Of course, Steve did his greatest hits of his podcast. And then the trivia contest held by Ray at the Corvette assembly plant was a lot of fun as well. And by the way, we finished first again in the preliminary round before getting crushed because they brought out a Corvette Dream Team. So we're up against Harlan guessing RPOs, and we had no shot against that.
Right.
That was still a lot of fun. You know, these shows are great. So many people came up to us loving to hear the show, love the podcast. Great to see everybody again. We're going to be back at the Corvette Museum in April for the bash. Hopefully be talking about some 2026 information or maybe even seeing some customer ZR1s. Who knows if they'll be ready by then or if it'll be a little bit later. But that's the great thing about the Corvette Museum. You do see that new stuff. So if you're a late model Corvette fan, that's a really great show to be at.
Yeah, I talked to acting CEO Bryce Burklow, and congratulations to Bryce and the entire staff there at the National Corvette Museum. They had over 5,000 people registered, and that's a lot of people for that museum. They did a phenomenal job. And like Keith said, it was really really, really hot, but they helped manage that really good. We had a lot of Corvette Museum deliveries, which were a lot of fun. And also, again, like Keith said, I put a presentation together of the best of 5 years of Corvette Today. We'll be doing that again, probably at Carlisle. We'll do some other ones coming up for the Bash and then next year's anniversary celebration. My hat is off to everybody at the National Corvette Museum. They did a phenomenal job taking care of all the people that converged on Bowling Green. The last thing we want to talk about, Keith, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony was outstanding.
Outstanding. So they've got a new format. If you've been previously, it was always at the Sloan Convention Center, which is the Holiday Inn, basically. You'd sit around the round tables, you'd get the choice of chicken or fish for your dinner, then you'd see some speeches. But here they've just really kind of upped the factor like a true Corvette Hall of Fame should be. This is an honor. People are dressed up. We're in a really nice theater, the Southern Kentucky Performing Arts Center. They call it SkyPack. A really cool theater. Up on the stage, they had 3 cars. They had a race car to represent GM Racing. They had a 65 or 66 Corvette to represent the enthusiast. And then they had the brand new ZR1 up there to represent GM. Just a wonderful show that they put on. Of course, the people that were inducted, Oliver Gavin and Jan Magnuson in the racing category. Richard Prince, author, historian, photographer. He was chosen for the enthusiast category. And then, of course, needing no introduction, Taj Jukter, retired Corvette chief engineer, was the GM category. Each of the inductees were featured in the video, and then a current Hall of Fame member invited them up on stage. They gave them their little award, and then they made these remarks. We had all kinds of special guests in the house. GM President Mark Royce was there. GM Vice President of Motorsports Jim Campbell. Ton of Corvette racing people, obviously with Oliver Yan and Richard being there. You know, there was a ton of Corvette racing people. Johnny O'Connell, saw him. Gary Pratt was there with his wife, Robin. Yan couldn't make it. He's actually managing a racing team in the WEC, and they were in Coda on Sunday. Again, a fantastic evening. I did talk to Mariah at the museum. They are going to be putting out the video and photos probably early this week, probably after Labor Day, obviously. We will have that as soon as we get our hands on that. We're going to post that. So this week, if you want to sit back and watch an hour and a half show of the cream of the crop of Corvette people, this is the show to watch, the Hall of Fame celebration. Fantastic 2 weeks. We appreciate meeting these new fans. And Steve, I don't know about you, but I'm actually looking forward to a little bit of sleep.
Yeah, you and me both, buddy. And I'm also looking forward to seeing that video because just in case you didn't know and you couldn't attend, there is a brand new Rapid Blue ZTK C8 ZR1 on stage. Looked fantastic. That should be out on the streets or at some other shows coming up. But man, that was brand new. As a matter of fact, it was built last week. So it's brand new ZR1. It was awesome looking.
Yeah, I did see that the VIN number on it was number 39.
Oh.
The one thing that we did see on it too is it had the dark blue calipers. It's always signature color on the calipers for the ZR1.
Yeah.
And we saw them last night. Really cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, Keith, let's take our first break, buddy. When we come back, it's Corvette Racing and Corvette Rumors on deck next here on Corvette Today.
We all know that wheels make the car. Wheelcraft's PVD chrome finish in bright chrome or black chrome will take your Corvette to new levels. And it comes with a 5-year warranty. Durability is a defining feature of the Wheelcraft finish. Their PVD chrome is superior to traditional chrome with a finish that is brake dust resistant and cleans effortlessly with soap and water. Wheelcraft offers factory wheel exchange for select C4 through C8 models, or they can apply the PVD finish to your current wheels. No matter what generation you own, Wheelcraft will transform the look of your Corvette. With every Corvette comes a unique story, and Wheelcraft has embraced this idea. When you purchase your new set of wheels, you receive a lifetime membership to the Wheelcraft Pit Crew, granting you access to your own page on Wheelcraft's website, where you can post pictures and tell your Corvette story. Visit our website at wheelcraft.com or call 833-639-4231. Arrive in style with Wheelcraft.
Hey, honey, are you awake?
I am now.
I can't sleep. Since turning 50, I keep dreaming of a red door and a blue door, somehow knowing there are only choices for retirement.
Okay.
Through the red door, we outlive our money. We have to rely on our kids. We're stuck on a fixed income. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that would suck.
But through the blue door, our money outlives us. We retire on our terms. Our kids stay our kids, not our caretakers. We make work optional.
Yes, that's much better. That's what what I want too. But what do we do?
We call True Wealth & Company at 913-653-8783. They specialize in helping successful people make work optional. They're our fiduciary Blue Door personal wealth managers.
Hey, where are you going? It's 3 a.m.
I can't sleep. I'm going to check out True Wealth & Company online at retirewithtrue.com. That Blue Door is going to be our retirement.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
Rev up your ride with the ultimate upgrade. The Radiator Grill Store is your go-to destination for top-notch C8 Corvette Stingray, Z06, and E-Ray accessories. Elevate your style with custom-painted engine bay covers, sleek front splitters, and side skirts that scream sophistication. Keep your C8 protected with premium Radiator Grill screens. Stand out from the crowd at car shows and beyond. Use code CT10 for an exclusive 10% discount off your total purchase at RadiatorGrillStore.com. Don't miss out on turning heads. Upgrade your Corvette today.
And now, back to Corvette Today with your host and my husband, Steve Garrett.
Thanks again for checking out Corvette Today on podcast and YouTube. It's the only current podcast dedicated to Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. You want your Corvette looking its best, don't you? Well, dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. So visit wheelcraft.com today or just give them a call, 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is my pal, Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger. Every other week, we keep you current on America's sports car. In segment number 2, we always cover Corvette racing and Corvette rumors. First, in the racing category, Keith, DXDT ran at the GT World Challenge America. How did they do?
You know, this team's cleaning up. I mean, they are unbelievable. So DXDT Racing, they're in the GT World Challenge America series. So no prototypes, just GT cars, GT3s and GT4s. We got Tommy Milner in one of the cars, and he's paired up with Alex Udell. This was the 5th race in a row that Tommy and Alex have won. They came in first and second. The way the format, too, is they'll go into a venue like Road America, and there'll be 2 races over the weekend. There's a Saturday race and then a Sunday race. And the great thing is that they show these live on YouTube. As we've been covering these, I've been trying to put the links in there beforehand, and then in the race recaps, I'm actually able to embed the races so anybody can go back in and watch a little bit of their racing action. So definitely would put DXDT Racing on your watch list if you really like Corvette racing. Their next race actually is going to be this weekend, September 6th, 8th at Barber Motorsports Park near Birmingham. We'll get the YouTube link, so when we do the preview this week, we'll actually have those embedded there so people know where to find them. Again, if you go to YouTube and just search GT World Challenge America, make sure you put the America in there because I believe there's a Europe version and an Asian version as well.
Gotcha.
GT World Challenge America, and you should be all set. Exciting news for Tommy. I mean, 5 wins in a row. How often does that happen?
Yeah. It's good to hear DXDT is cleaning up. That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
Now, with that being said, Corvette Racing did have a very bad outing at Virginia International Raceway, didn't they?
Yeah, very uncharacteristic. Both cars had some mechanical gremlins, really kind of knocked it back, which is a shame because VIR is one of our home tracks. It's a track that we generally do very well in. The number 4 Corvette with Tommy Milner and Nicky Katzberg finished 8th, while Alexander Sims and Antonio Garcia would finish 9th in the race. Not too good of a result there, but on the flip side, this is one of the benefits of having cars in multiple classes. In the GTD, we had AWA Racing, their number 13 car, finished 7th overall in GTD, and it was their best result of the season. So these guys are creeping up a little bit. I definitely keep an eye on them because they're really seeming to get the feel of the car down. Of course, probably sharing some information back and forth with the Corvette racing team and the pro drivers there. They're also getting awards for some other things as well, like the Amateur Driver Award. Corvette Racing and IMSA will be headed to Indianapolis for the Battle of the Bricks. That's a 6-hour endurance race held September 19th and 22nd at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Can't wait to watch that one. I just love watching anything that happens at IMS. Of course, the Brickyard and all that stuff. So that should be good.
That's cool. And also, AWA announced the return of the Z06 GT3R for next year, which is good.
They did, yeah. So they confirmed that they're coming back to GTD class.
Good.
The number 13 car will be driven again by Ore Fidani and Matt Bell. And again, you put a sophomore season together, you take everything that you've learned from that first season, you apply it to the second season. We're still working out some stuff, obviously, with Gremlin-wise, but these cars are becoming more and more reliable each and every time we go out on the tracks. Glad to see them returning, and we're expecting great things in GTD from the number 13 Corvette.
Nice. In the rumor section, we had a couple juicy ones. We had an E-Ray taking on a Z06 in roll races, didn't they?
Yeah, these are just two guys wanting to go. One was a Z06 driver, one was an E-Ray driver. And, there just hasn't been a lot of these two cars racing against each other. What they did was they did just a couple roll races from different speeds. They did a 20-mile-an-hour roll, a 30-mile-an-hour roll, 40-mile roll, etc. And then they had multiple angles of cameras shown on the cars. The E-Ray is quicker. All-wheel drive allows power to be put to the road. But the Z06 is faster overall. Again, sometimes has some traction issues putting that power to the ground. So I actually met the Z06 driver at Carlisle. He goes under DBM Racing. Although he's a Z06 driver at heart, I think he found some new respect for the E-Ray.
Yeah, probably. Also, it's coming back again. We're hearing that an electric Stingray and a Corvette SUV might be back somewhere down the road, right?
Yeah, well, everything's getting pushed back. And this is from a previous report. There's an auto forecasting company originally said we might see a Corvette SUV around 2025 or 2026. So stuff's getting pushed back, and that's generally, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
Let them get the time to get it right. But also the market's got to mature a little bit more and stuff like that. And of course, the Corvette people are behind the curve on that as well. We just see that from the E-Ray and some of the comments that we hear about that. According to the forecasting company, we could see an electric Corvette Stingray in June of 2029, and then that'll be followed up by a Corvette SUV in June of 2030. More interestingly, they say that both cars are going to be made at General Motors' Lansing Grand River plant in Lansing, Michigan. Again, I think anything that's going to be EV related initially will probably be built closer to GM's Detroit area, while we'll have the ICE cars continuing down here in Bowling Green. That's my thoughts on that. We've been seeing a lot of the pure EVs being pushed back across the board. We think electric Corvette is probably still on the table. When you look at some of the seminars we saw, with the ZR1 engine, they had their first prototypes done in 2015. So think about what you were doing in 2015. We were talking about the first year of the return of the Stingray, and then we had the Corvette Z06, the supercharged LT4. Meanwhile, they're working on the ZR1 for 2025. So 10 years ago. That's just incredible.
Yeah.
The good news is Corvette's selling 40,000 C8s per year. They're making a ton of GM money so far, and I don't think they would just say, let's just stop that and we'll go straight to EVs. I think if they do anything, they'll be like a dual production route where you have the ICE engine cars and then you have the EVs. The EVs will be limited, but it might offer some tantalizing performance, so we'll be watching that.
Yeah, that's a big old honker, juicy rumor, Keith. I don't know if I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on the electric Stingray or the Corvette SUV. We'll just wait and see. The C8 has got a lot of life left in it, so this will be something very cool to watch.
That's all we can do is sit back and watch. And of course, we're still talking 5-6 years out.
Yeah, definitely. All right, buddy, time for our final break. When we come back, it's the lighter side of Corvette on deck here on Corvette Today.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With agreed value protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
The National Corvette Restorers Society is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. 50 years of affirming and promoting the preservation and restoration of the Corvette. 50 years as the foremost Corvette collector car organization for building value with its prestigious awards. Have you ever considered joining NCRS? Over 70,000 people have. We're so much more than just the nuts and bolts. The NCRS flight judging program can and often does increase the value of America's sports car by researching and publishing the leading tech manuals and judging guides for the 1953 through 2007 Corvettes, by training the best judges and by hosting local, regional, and national judging events. And when you join, you'll get award-winning magazines like Corvette Restore and Driveline all throughout the year. Joining is simple and easy. Just go to ncrs.org and sign up. There are NCRS chapters all throughout the U.S. and all around the world. Chances are there's a local chapter near you. So join NCRS today at ncrs.org. We come for the Corvettes. We stay for the friendships made along the way.
When you want to buy a Corvette, or any Chevrolet for that matter, get yours from Hendrick Chevrolet Shawnee Mission, located in Kansas City. Hendrick Chevrolet is the largest Corvette dealership and showroom in the Midwest. With a knowledgeable sales staff and Corvette sales specialists on hand, they'll help you build the Corvette of your dreams, and they ship nationwide. With Corvette certified master mechanics on site and a huge parts department with over 24,000 parts and $2 million in inventory, Hendrick Chevrolet is well equipped to take care of your every need. From sales to service to collision repair, Hendrick Chevrolet has you covered. Visit ChevyUSA.com or call 913-384-1550.
VetteFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25, and every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetteFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada, and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetteFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
You're enjoying the only current podcast on Corvettes, Corvette Today.
Hey, thanks once again for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Corvette Today is brought to you by Wheelcraft. You want your Corvette looking its best? Dress it up with bright chrome or black chrome wheels. Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or do a wheel exchange, and you get a 5-year warranty. How about that? Visit wheelcraft.com today or just give them a call. 833-639-4231. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger. If you ever want a deeper dive into any of the stories that Keith and I cover, just go to CorvetteBlogger.com. In this final segment, we always cover the lighter side of Corvette. Keith, this was so cool. Mark Royce visited Jay Leno's garage with a ZR1. Wow.
Yeah, Jay Leno finally got an up-close look at the 2025 Corvette ZR1. Of course, there was 3 Blue Devil cars.
Yeah.
The 2009 ZR1s, and he has one of those. So obviously he is a ZR1 fan. Mark Royce comes in, and Royce also brings his dad's 1967 Corvette to the show as well. You know, his dad was Lloyd Royce, who was a former GM president as well. Kind of cool. They're keeping that in the family. Again, neat to see the old Corvette and the new Corvette featured together. Really, this episode, you know, sometimes they'll do some driving. It was actually just an in-studio walk-around. They actually filmed it, I believe, before the reveal happened, so it was embargoed. But we are promised a driving video, which might be coming next. So I'm excited to see that because Jay's got a little bit of a lead foot and he likes to go for it. So we'll see that. Of course, remember, Jay and Taj drove over 200 miles an hour in the 2019 Corvette ZR1.
Yes, they did.
But one of the funny parts I thought was Jay was trying to get the price out of Mark, but Mark wouldn't budge. He would only say that, quote, true to Corvette tradition, aspirational but attainable. And then he also says it's the best amount of horsepower per buck out there.
Yeah.
That was probably the big question that everybody was asking. What's the price going to be? When's it coming? All that. Of course, they don't know yet. They're not finished with it yet. They're not even done with some of the development stuff, as we talked before. Cool to see that on Jay Leno's Garage. You can catch that on YouTube, on the Corvette Blogger as well. I'm really looking forward to the driving part.
Me too, and I want to hear the price. We probably won't have that till February, so just know going down the road, we're not going to have the price till next year. It's all good. I still want to see the drive as well. Also, Keith, you and I saw this up close and personal at Corvettes at Carlisle. One of the lifts broke while they were doing an install. I was worried about the Corvette up on the lift.
Oh, it was a scary thing. Actually, I missed this, but I heard all about it. What had happened was a 4-post lift had cable failure, and then it buckled with a Rapid Blue C8 Stingray stuck on it. Very scary, but the solution was to call in a flatbed wrecker, and this guy did great. It was caught on video and uploaded to YouTube, so that's how we know what happened here. But the flatbed wrecker positioned his rollback carefully and then allowed the Corvette to be backed off the lift and onto the wrecker. Kudos to those involved with a successful rescue. I said that the owner probably needed a drink and a new pair of shorts after that experience.
Yeah, I saw the thing up close and personal. I was there while they were doing it. It scared the living daylights out of me.
Yeah, I would have been a wreck watching that as well.
Yeah, but everybody was so professional, and the Corvette was not harmed whatsoever. Kudos to all those guys. Also, Keith, we learned that Hedon Mobility Group is going to take on Corvette sales and service in continental Europe. That's kind of different from what we've heard before, isn't it?
Yeah, but it sounds like an expansion. We don't get European news. I don't know if it's timely. This was a press release that was put out by them. So Corvette sales in continental Europe will be supported by the Hedon Mobility Group and their subsidiary. So they've already got dealerships, service locations. They're already supporting the Corvette as the distributor in Sweden, Norway, and Finland.
Okay.
So it just sounds like GM says, hey, you know what? I like what you guys are doing up there in Northern Europe. Let's go ahead on the continent and you guys can handle that as well. I saw some of their stats. They sell a lot of cars. They've got a lot of locations. Hopefully this will allow Corvette buyers to be able to get over there and buy their car the way they need to.
Yeah, that's really cool. And our final item on the show tonight, Keith, our buddy Justin from Horsepower Obsessed showed us the most overlooked maintenance item on Corvette. What was that?
And I would have guessed this. He was talking about cabin air filters. The more I dove into this, I was like, this is interesting because if you go through the owner's manual, it tells you how to change the cabin air filter, but there's no schedule of maintenance on there. Justin suggested maybe doing it every once a year when you're doing your oil change. They're real easy to do. So he was at a car show when he busted out this video and he actually changed the cabin air filters on both a C7 model and a C8 model. The C8 model is a little bit easier, but the C7 certainly can be done. You can get these filters on Amazon for $10, $15 with the activated charcoal to block out some smells. If you don't want smelly air to come in your cabin, it's a good way to keep that clean is with these cabin air filters. I'm in the South. Our pollen is crazy a couple times a year. And so that is a great way to also to make sure that you don't have those irritants getting into the car itself through your AC or through your vent. Yeah, the cabin air filter. Who would have known?
If you've ever seen a cabin air filter after it's taken out of the car, you'll want to change it more than you really do right now. That was a great idea. And thanks to Justin at Horsepower Obsessed. He's been on the show before. You can hear his episode on Corvette Today. Well, buddy, thanks for being back on the show. Get some rest and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Steve, my pleasure. It was great seeing you. I enjoy this partnership immensely. People come up and say, you guys really sound like you're friends.
I think so, yes.
I would say that we are. Had a blast. Everybody that came up to us, we love you guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you at the next show. And if we do, you make sure you keep waving.
Thanks again for listening and watching Corvette Today. And be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today show. And thanks to our sponsors, Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com to learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-639-4231. Soul Performance Products at SOULPP.com, the official performance exhaust of Corvette Today. Ciocca Corvette at CIOCCA Corvette.com. E5 Wheels at E5Wheels.com. True Wealth and Company at RetireWithTrue.com. Also, Aerolarri Wheels. Get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at Aerolarri.com. And Hendrick Chevrolet in Kansas City at ChevyUSA.com.
Thanks for checking out Corvette Today on podcast and YouTube. If you'd like to contact Steve with ideas for Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Also, sign up for email notifications at corvettetoday.ck.page. Follow Steve and the show on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Threads at Steve Garrett DJ. Thanks again for listening and watching Corvette Today.